It all started with a post. A simple, casual line on Instagram, "I'm single, LOL." But what looked like a throwaway joke from Bino was actually the spark that ignited one of the messiest breakups social media has ever seen. Because behind that LOL was a storm. A storm of betrayal, manipulation, and heartbreak that would soon have every fan, every gossip page, and every YouTuber talking. See, Bino was not just announcing a breakup, he was performing it. Publicly. Dramatically. And with an almost chilling level of detachment. He went live right after, talking in half-coded sentences, throwing shade at Chrisean like it was an art form. Every word seemed rehearsed. Every smirk, calculated. But what about Chrisean? On the surface, she looked calm. Composed. Almost like she had accepted it. But insiders whispered a different story, one of sleepless nights, shattered trust, and a brutal realization that she had been nothing more than a prop in someone else's game. Because apparently, Bino never really loved her. He was chasing clout. Those romantic trips, the affectionate posts, even that dramatic rescue moment with the police, it was all part of a performance. A show. A carefully crafted storyline to promote his upcoming album. And just when fans thought they had seen it all, he started promoting that very same album in the same breath as announcing their breakup. The audacity left everyone stunned. Social media exploded. Fans called him heartless. Others said, he's just doing what every clout chaser does. But one thing was clear, the internet had officially turned this breakup into a full-blown spectacle. Behind closed doors, the real chaos began. Sources claimed that Bino had been liking photos of Jade and Alexis, a move that did not go unnoticed. Chrisean, already suspicious, confronted him. The argument escalated fast. Voices were raised, words got venomous, and before anyone could stop it, hands were thrown. Bino, apparently not willing to fight back, decided to walk away. He ended it. Just like that. No closure, no explanation, just another Instagram moment for the timeline. But wait, the story did not stop there. Because just as the dust started to settle, another name entered the chat. That is right, Stunna Girl appeared like a plot twist nobody saw coming. Rumors started flying that she and Bino had history, a secret connection before Chrisean even entered the picture. But when Stunna was asked, she denied everything. That relationship was fake, she said. All of it. Then things got darker. Whispers began circulating that this entire relationship, every photo, every caption, every viral moment, was actually a publicity stunt. A marketing strategy designed to get Bino's name trending before his new track dropped. And the most shocking part? Reports claimed Chrisean was in on it. Yes, she allegedly agreed to play her role, and she was paid for it. A hefty payout, as insiders put it. The betrayal fans felt was real. The timeline split in half calling her a victim, the other half accusing her of being complicit in the chaos. Then came the final twist. Stunna Girl, or as she calls herself, Sun Girl, dropped a bombshell. She claimed Bino had been chasing her for months before any of this began. Buying her Chanel bags. Pulling up to her shows. Trying way too hard to get her attention. But she was not impressed. She saw through the performance before the rest of the world did. And she warned everyone, he is not loyal to anyone. He plays people for fame. When Bino finally got with Chrisean, Stunna said she was not surprised. He'll do her dirty too, she allegedly told friends. And, as if on cue, he did. The internet caught fire again. Memes, reaction videos, Twitter threads, TikTok stitches. Everyone had an opinion, and every opinion was louder than the last. Some said it was karma. Others said it was manipulation at its finest. But one thing everyone agreed on, this was no ordinary breakup. This was a masterclass in deception, and heartbreak performed for the entire world to see. And just when you thought the situation couldn't possibly spiral any further, Carlisa entered the chat. You could practically set your watch by it. If there's chaos brewing around Chrisean, you can bet Carlisa will be right there, front row, mic in hand, ready to unload her truth. This time was no different. Within hours of the breakup drama, Carlisa went live, eyes fierce, voice sharp, and dragged Chrisean like she had been waiting for this moment. She accused her of abandoning her priorities, of choosing men and mayhem over motherhood. According to Carlisa, Chrisean wasn't just reckless, she was lost. Where's the stability? Where's the home for your son? She demanded. It wasn't just a rant, it was a public intervention, raw and cruel, but, for once, it hit a nerve. Because this time, even the people who usually rolled their eyes at Carlisa's theatrics couldn't entirely disagree. Then, the internet froze. A video surfaced. And it was bad. The clip showed little Chrisean Jr., barely a baby, fast asleep on a couch, while the room around him looked like a smoke-filled club. A group of grown men lounged around, laughing, puffing clouds thick enough to choke the air. And there he was, Bino, sitting comfortably among them, nodding to the beat, completely unbothered, while that tiny child slept inches away from a haze of smoke and neglect. Viewers were stunned. You could almost feel the collective heartbreak in the comments, mothers, fathers, fans, all asking the same question: how could this happen? For a man who had just declared himself a father figure, Bino didn't look the part. Not even close. But as people started calling him out, others pointed their fingers back at Chrisean. Where's the mother? They asked. Why is her baby even in that room? And that is when the internet turned from gossip to outrage. Because this wasn't the first time. Not by a long shot. It was like opening Pandora's box. One clip led to another, one headline bled into the next. People began digging up the past, the night she brought her baby to a smoke shop at 3 in the morning, the footage of her casually chatting and laughing like everything was fine, and the report that she had left her baby in a stroller near the beach while she wandered off. Every memory was a wound reopened. And every wound told the same story: fame first, responsibility later. The internet doesn't forget. And this time, it didn't forgive either. What should have been a quiet moment of reflection turned into a public trial. Fans, critics, and even neutral viewers found themselves torn. Was Chrisean a young mother overwhelmed by fame, or a product of her own addiction to chaos? But here's the most shocking part: despite all the outrage, despite all the videos, despite Carlissa's public lashing, Chrisean and Bino are still together. Seen again, side by side, like nothing ever happened. It's almost tragic, a loop she can't escape. Love, drama, heartbreak, repeat. Each relationship begins like a promise and ends like a headline. She cries. The internet reacts. She apologizes. The cycle resets. And somewhere in that storm, her baby watches the world she's building, one mistake, one scandal, one live stream at a time. Maybe for Chrisean, chaos is not the problem. Maybe it's the comfort. Maybe the attention, even when drenched in criticism, is the oxygen that keeps her career alive. Because no matter how dark the situation gets, one thing remains the same: the internet cannot look away. Beneath all the screaming headlines, beneath the chaos, the live rants, and the viral clips, there's something deeply tragic about this entire story. Because this isn't just another influencer meltdown. This isn't just about clout, or PR games, or who went live first. This time, there's a child in the middle of it all. Every argument, every fight, every viral outburst, they're not just moments for the internet to mock. They're memories that little boy will one day see. And the internet doesn't forget. That's the part people never think about. Once upon a time, everyone rooted for Chrisean. She was the underdog, the girl who came from nothing, fought through pain, and forced her way into an industry that chews women up and spits them out. She had fire. She had grit. She had that rare, magnetic energy that made people believe she could rise above it all. But something changed. The sympathy started fading. And with every new controversy, another piece of public goodwill was chipped away. And then there's Bino. The man at the center of it all, the one who knew exactly what he was doing. From day one, his intentions were questioned. Was he really in love, or was he just playing the long game? Because when your relationship goes viral at the same time your new track drops, people start connecting the dots. It's a move as old as fame itself: use the scandal to sell the song. Turn heartbreak into headlines. And let the internet do the rest. It's cold. It's manipulative. But it works. And sadly, Chrisean keeps finding herself surrounded by men who see her not as a partner, but as a platform, a shortcut to attention, clicks, and relevance. Even Carlissa, the woman everyone loves to call messy, spoke a truth that cut deep this time. Her words weren't just about one night or one bad decision. They were about a pattern. A mindset. She said it plainly: Chrisean lives in chaos because chaos feels like home. And as cruel as it sounded, it resonated. Because at some point, rebellion stops looking brave, and starts looking self-destructive. At some point, being real turns into being reckless. And the world's patience runs out. What used to make people root for her, that raw, unfiltered energy, is now what makes people exhausted. Every viral clip doesn't add to her fame anymore, it subtracts from it. The sympathy has turned to pity. The admiration, to disappointment. But here's the irony: the public isn't innocent in this story either. The same people who say she needs to get help are the same ones refreshing their feed for the next clip. They watch it, comment on it, meme it, and then pretend to be outraged. It's a twisted dance: fame feeding on downfall, downfall feeding the fame. Maybe that's why she doesn't stop. Maybe deep down, she knows that as long as people are talking, even if they're dragging her name, she still matters. Because in this world, attention is the new currency, and controversy is the fastest way to earn it. But here's the dark side of that truth: when the attention fades, what's left? When the lights dim, the streams dry up, and the audience moves on to their next scandal, who's left holding the pieces? That's the part no one thinks about. Bino will vanish into another PR stunt. Carlisa will find another headline to rant about. The internet will move on to its next victim. But Chrisean will be left behind, sitting in the quiet that comes after the storm. Alone with the damage, the exhaustion, and a little boy who deserves more than to be part of her chaos. And that's the tragedy. It didn't have to end like this. Because Chrisean has it, the charisma, the presence, the story that could have inspired millions. She could have built an empire on authenticity and resilience. But until she learns that her worth isn't measured by drama, until she chooses peace over the noise, she'll keep walking in circles. New man. New scandal. Same heartbreak. If this whole thing really was a PR stunt, then congratulations, it worked. The track got streams. The blogs got clicks. The internet got its entertainment. But the cost? Her credibility. Her peace. And maybe, her legacy. Because once the world starts seeing you as the spectacle instead of the artist, it's nearly impossible to turn that around. And that's the cruel truth of modern fame, you don't just lose control of the narrative. You become the narrative. And just when you thought it could not get any worse, it did. Because if there is one thing certain in Chrisean's world, it is this: the drama never sleeps. Carlisa is still talking, of course. The internet is still watching. And Chrisean? She is still walking that razor-thin line between fame and fallout, a line she has been dancing on for years. Maybe one day she will finally realize that peace speaks louder than chaos. That growth is quieter than attention. And that being a mother is far more powerful than being a headline. But until that day comes, this pattern, the PR stunts, the broken love stories, the livestream breakdowns, will keep looping like a song she cannot stop replaying. A new video hit the internet like a tidal wave. Chrisean and Bino, sitting side by side, smiling like nothing ever happened. She insisted they were still friends, no bad blood, no hard feelings. Bino nodded, echoing her words, pretending that everything was fine. But you could see it in their eyes. The tension. The hurt. The lie. Because their actions told a completely different story, one dripping with jealousy, revenge, and a thirst for attention that could drown anyone who got too close. It was the kind of spectacle only social media could create, heartbreak filmed in 4K, turned into a viral sideshow for millions to dissect. But what happened next was darker. Because according to people close to the situation, one of Bino's own friends, yes, his own crew, secretly recorded Chrisean during her lowest moment. And not long after their fallout, that very footage hit the internet. No hacker. No mysterious leak. This came straight from his side. The clip showed Chrisean doing something she probably never wanted the world to see, something people online quickly labeled nose candy. And the timing? Perfectly cruel. It was not about the truth. It was about humiliation. About revenge. About a man who could not stand seeing his ex move on, so he made sure her private shame became public property. The internet lost its mind. Everyone had an opinion. Some defended her. Others dragged her. But everyone watched. Because nothing goes more viral than a public downfall. And then, as if that was not already twisted enough, Bino went further. He posted another clip. One that broke the internet completely. The footage showed Chrisean in a private, intimate act, sucking on his toes. Yes. You heard that right. His toes. Within hours, social media turned into a circus. Memes, parodies, TikToks, it was everywhere. Comment sections filled with disbelief, disgust, and dark humor. Some said, no way she's doing that and going home to her baby. Others said, I need therapy after seeing this. And through it all, Bino laughed. He reposted memes, dropped laughing emojis, and treated it like a game, as if turning a woman's private moments into viral humiliation was just content. It was beyond messy. It was cruel. And it exposed something sinister about fame in the digital age, how pain has become entertainment. By now, the whole thing had turned into a feeding frenzy. Every influencer, every gossip blog, every random Twitter user, they all joined in. Everyone had a take. Everyone had a headline. Some called it karma. Others called it abuse. But the truth was simpler, people just could not look away. Because no matter how much they claimed to hate the drama, they were addicted to it. They watched every clip, analyzed every post, laughed, judged, shared, feeding the very spectacle they pretended to condemn. Chrisean had become the internet's favorite train wreck, tragic, magnetic, and impossible to ignore. And just when the internet thought it had seen enough, whispers started spreading again. Blueface, yes, that Blueface, was reportedly planning his big return once he gets out of jail. And according to sources, Chrisean knows it. That is why she has been clearing her slate, tying up loose ends before the next chapter begins. Because if there's one thing history has taught us, it is that she and Blueface are drawn to each other like gasoline and fire. Their connection is toxic, electric, and eternal, the kind of love that burns everything it touches but refuses to die. The internet is already waiting. Some want a reunion. Others dread it. But either way, they will be watching. Every time she posts a selfie, a lyric, a cryptic caption, the comments flood in like vultures. Is she shading Bino? Is she back with Blueface? Is this damage control? Nobody knows. But everyone has an opinion. And that's the curse of living your pain online. Your story stops being yours. The blogs profit. The fans speculate. The strangers laugh. And you become a character in your own downfall. Her life has turned into a soap opera, written by the internet, directed by drama, and watched by millions who claim to care, but secretly crave the next disaster. And maybe that's the saddest truth of all, that in the world of viral fame, redemption is not trending, but downfall always is. But beneath all the noise, beneath the tweets, the memes, and the viral clips, there's a darker truth simmering here. A truth about trust, privacy, and the way relationships die in the digital age. Because when the person who once swore to love you becomes the same person who publicly humiliates you, something inside you breaks. That is not heartbreak, that is betrayal at the most personal, soul-deep level. And for Chrisean, this is not just another scandal. This is another chapter in a painfully long book, one written in heartbreak, humiliation, and survival. People laugh at the memes, type their jokes in the comments, and move on. But behind that screen is a woman sitting in silence, realizing that her most private moments have become everyone else's entertainment. One comment, in particular, lit the entire internet on fire. Someone wrote, after she said she don't need her family, said her son got a father and Bino her husband, look how they running through her and playing in her face. Quave, Figgy, Glock, Bino, just to name a few.